Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Southern Football Network. Texas versus Texas A&M rivalry renewed is what they're calling this. Everyone is here. We got someone from New York City, Jamie. We got Tennessee, Charlie, and then the legend, Kirk Bowles, covering the Longhorns since 1971. That can't be correct because you look younger than me, man. Welcome, everybody. Our guest, Kirk Bowles. Listen to this. Longtime Longhorns reporter. We'll start with him. His awesome career, 51 years at the Austin American-Statesman. Look at those days. He even had a typewriter. All right, man. He's also the past president. How about that? Look at that. You look sharp, man. Look at those sideburns, too. That's beautiful. Six-time winner as Texas Sports Writer of the Year. He's now with the Houston Chronicle. Bowles, thanks for coming on, man. Long time, fond memories. What can you share of some of your best memories covering the Texas Longhorns football program?
Oh my goodness. I guess I'll start with the best. 2005, the Rose Bowl, the win over
Okay.
USC. I mean, one versus number two.
That was
And Chris,
fantastic.
I would still say that's the best football game I've ever seen. And I think I would make the argument it's the best bowl game ever and perhaps the best college football game ever. There were some OU Nebraska games and some Ohio State Michigan games and Alabama games, but that one stands number one. That was the pinnacle for me, Chris.
You know what? I had the worst seat in the house, Bowles. I was on the field at the freaking corner of the end zone. I'm like, this is a horrible seat. And then all of a sudden, I'm right there.
Yeah.
And Vince Young goes into my arms during the game-winning touchdown. I was in the corner of the end zone. I was reporting it for Fox in Dallas. I mean, I was like,
Nice.
man, the game's going the opposite direction. USC had the ball, and then it comes towards me. I'm like, this is greatness. As a Longhorn, I kind of got rid of my reporting and had to cheer a little bit there. I'm sorry about that.
That's timing.
Okay. Bull. So anyway, we got someone from Alabama alum. We got a Vandy alum. So they don't realize the hatred that comes from those people in College Station. Let's roll. This is their fight song, not ours. Their fight song. Listen to this. I'm not sure they mentioned the Aggies once in that fight song. That is classic. And then also in there, it also, while they're doing this, they're swaying. And guess what they say? Saw varsity's horns off. They say, cut off Bevo's horns. Guys, I'm telling you, this is intense. Bowles, what do you think? Why do they hate it so much down there?
They're like the little brother, they're in the shadow of Texas. They want to be Texas, okay? I mean, I'm sure Charlie and JB understand that. I mean, it's divided by 100 miles of road and century of hate, and they talk about Texas singing the eyes of Texas so well, they just couldn't leave well enough alone.
Sounds like hell.
Sounds like hell. So, yeah.
I think they also created the horns down. They had to have, right? They must have.
Well, there are so many rivals. That's the thing. Texas has about 5 or 6 rivals. I think I saw a survey one time that 13 teams said Texas was their biggest rival, and Arkansas was among them. And Arkansas left the Southwest Conference in 1991. So, and still Texas is their number one rival, even though they haven't been playing annually. So
Man,
Texas brings out the hate.
They do bring out the hate. As a matter of fact, it's not just the students, okay? Everyone looks ahead to the Longhorns. This is a week ago when A&M was supposed to be playing Auburn, and here's the head coach, Elko, talking about the Auburn game.
I think our focus is single-handedly on on Auburn right now and locked in on what we got to get done.
Oh my, slip of the tongue. He even said before the press, he goes, look, guys, we're here to focus on Auburn. We're not thinking about, and then he says that. Is it even in their mind? It's even in the players and coaches' mind.
Well, it sure seemed that way. They play against Auburn, get down 21-0 in the first quarter there. So I would say they were singularly focused on Texas. So Coach Elko spoke the truth.
Oh my goodness! All right, Jamie, your response to the rivalry. You tell him about your rivalry, which you think is the biggest rivalry, and then ask the question you want to ask. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Kirk, how are you? It
Hey,
seems
Jamie,
just
great.
like A&M was looking forward to Texas. Alabama was looking forward to Auburn with how we played last Saturday. That was so embarrassing, even though that game doesn't really mean so much except for pride. You guys in Texas think you're so cool with your hand gestures. I feel like it's like one of the only states where every single school has a hand gesture. And in the Iron Bowl, we have a hand gesture too when we see, the Alabama players see Auburn players and vice versa. And it's when you put, your third finger up and the rest of them stay down. So we do have that. We do have that as well.
So no, Jamie, y'all are just saying we're number one, right?
Listen, I'm just saying I understand the hatred, and that fight song was so fun for me because we always want to love and we don't want to hate, but sometimes that hate, it just really gets you fired up and it makes you feel good. So
fun.
I get it.
Too much fun,
I'm
right,
right there.
Jamie?
I'm right there with you. Even though, Yates, I'd be curious to know if you guys actually want to go to the SEC championship again and play Georgia.
Oh,
I don't know.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Hey, different. Hey, I'm not like Elko. I'm just thinking about the Aggies right now. I don't think ahead. I think just about the Aggies. But ask him what he thinks about this whole rivalry.
And that's the way you punch your ticket. All right. So
wait a minute, Jamie. Hold on, real quick. Alabama, do y'all want to play? Oh, you're not going to the game. Never mind.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we're not.
Neither Lane
We're
Kiffin,
sitting.
right?
Yes.
I'm not even sure Alabama wants to play Vanderbilt again.
Oh, now Jamie, man, we're turning on you today. I'm sorry. This is harsh.
Listen, if you can give it, you got to be able to take it. So no harm, no foul here. All right, Kirk. So
It's been 40
Alabama,
years since I've been able to say that.
How good did that feel? Did it warm your heart?
How good?
How do you
Which
feel
game
right
was
now,
that?
Charlie?
Yes, absolutely.
He's talking about the Bama Vandy game.
Yeah. He's talking
Sorry,
about
we
the
digress.
Okay. All right, Jamie, go ahead. Fire away.
Anyway, the Bama-Auburn rivalry has always been so heated because, not only are we in-state rivals, we don't have even a professional team to look to and cheer for. And now you guys, not only are you reunited in the same conference and playing against each other, the stakes are so high.
Mm-hmm.
But being that in-state rivals so close to each other, is that what makes kind of the Alabama and Auburn hatred and Texas A&M hatred kind of similar in that way?
I would say from Texas and A&M standpoint, yes, Jamie. They're both flagship schools. They're both two of the biggest schools in the country. A&M's got like 72,000 students now. So, and you grow up in this state of Texas, you're either an Aggie or a Longhorn. There's no other way about it. And you grow up in that family. But, then you see intermingled marriages where an Aggie will marry the Longhorn.
I'm guilty, Bowles. Do you know that? My wife's an Aggie, and my daughter's an Aggie. This has been a horrible week for me, but go ahead.
So divided families, right? And the other thing, Jamie, is that, we were talking to Texas players just yesterday, and, all these players know each other, because they played on same high school teams, competing high school teams, or, 7-on-7, and they go on recruiting visits today. And so, if anything, I think a lot of the hate, guys, has been diminished among the players, not the fan base. Let's make that clear. And I think it's the older fan base. Like, Texas hadn't played A&M in 13 years, but and the people that are 50 or older, there's that hate is genuine. But I asked, if you go back to 2011, the last time Texas played A&M and beat them, Justin Tucker kicks the winning 40-yard field goal with 3 seconds left. I asked Matthew Golden, the Longhorn receiver, if he knew who Justin Tucker was. He said no.
Wow.
So I don't think they understand the history of this rivalry. But that's today's Generation Z, right? They just want to win and get to the SEC championship.
Good point. All right, Charlie.
So I love the history of rivals, and so a couple of things if you could talk about is, one is I'd love to know some memories of specific A&M Texas A&M games that really stand out for you, and if there's anything on the peripheral outside of football that really stands out that makes this rivalry special as well.
Well, the one so memorable game was the bonfire game in 1999 after the A&M tradition of having a bonfire the week before the Texas game to show A&M's burning desire to beat Texas, and just a horrible tragedy where the bonfire collapsed and 12 Aggie students were killed, and it brought those two schools together, and I'll never forget that game, Charlie, because the Texas band played "Amazing Grace" at Kyle Field. They played taps. You had F-16s flying over. They released 12 doves to signify the deaths of the students, and it was just such an unspeakable tragedy. It really kind of put perspective, and for the first time, maybe the only time, these two sides came together, and that's one of the most memorable meetings I've ever remembered. But you can go back; these two teams have played since 1894, if you can believe it. And I mean, there was one year, 1915, where Texas played A&M twice and lost both games. And Dexter Draper was the head coach, and needless to say, he wasn't invited back for the 1916 season. But I went to UT, graduated from there. I go back to 1977 when Earl Campbell caught a 60-yard touchdown pass against A&M at Kyle Field to win that game. And the 1998 game in Austin, where Ricky Williams broke the all-time NCAA rushing record. He broke Tony Dorsett's record, and Tony was there on the sideline. So those are some of the memories. 1941, Texas knocked A&M out of the Rose Bowl, and that was such a celebrated Longhorn team that 13 Longhorn players were on the cover of Life magazine, a couple of weeks before. So it's just so rich in history and the social fabric of this state, because it just dominates the water cooler talk. I don't know if they have water coolers anymore, but if they did,
Yeah.
it would dominate the talk all week long.
Kirk Bowles, you just brought up something that reminded me of that the Tony Dorsett record one. It was Ricky Williams. A crazy story on that is he was in Dallas and he couldn't get a flight out, and it was Dorsett. He was going to be honored during that halftime. I was on his flight, and the flight got delayed. And the flight, and this is a true story. It's never been told before. You can write this story. You can quote me. And Dorsett was there, and I go to the pilot and said, we got to get there. He's got to be there at halftime. And they switched planes. Then I escort, I wave a police officer down and said, we got Tony Dorsett. So me and Tony Dorsett are in the back of a police car driving through traffic to make it, and we get there just in time for the game, and Tony invites me down to the moment of the halftime because I got him to the game. Without me, that moment would not have happened. Can you believe that? It's an awesome story.
There's the rest of the story.
There's the rest of the story. And we had an Aggie lifetimer reporter down there. He didn't know the answer to this, so now we're going to bring it to you, Kirk. Show the photo of Bevo. Charlie, you asked about this one.
Yeah, I don't even know the story of how he became known as Bevo. And one story I've heard, and maybe you can help confirm it, is when the after A&M won 13-0, they kidnapped or Longhorn napped the mascot and branded 13-0 on it, as you see in his photo here.
Right.
And that's changing that brand into Bevo is how he became Bevo. Is that a true story?
That is definitely the story of legend, Charlie. I will say that because they made the 13 into a B, and then they added the E to B. There's competing stories that there was a writer for the Alcalde, which is the alumni magazine, and that he had bought a steer and named it Bevo. I think there was a beer at that time named BV or something.
Everybody
like that.
wants credit.
Okay, yeah.
Bevo. and they have stolen Bevo since, and the Longhorns have stolen Reveille. So I kind of miss those days,
Yeah.
Man.
those college pranks,
Oh, the
So
college
who
pranks
knows
days they're
what
great.
All
yeah, we
right.
need more pranks like that.
All right, and then
Yeah.
Jamie was going to ask you about this one game. We're asking you all kinds of stuff, so we're throwing you into the fire. Jamie, go ahead and ask about this one.
Yeah, we talked about obviously the Justin Tucker game the last time you guys met back in 2011. And I actually read an article, you guys, in the Austin American Statesman earlier about Justin Tucker and his teammate. And I'm probably going to horribly butcher his last name, Namadi Madabui. Oh, I don't know. But he went to A&M, and they said that they're not going to be doing any bets in the locker room this year because they don't have any control over the outcome of the game. And I just think that's a huge missed opportunity. So, Kirk, what do you think about those NFL in locker room bets and Justin Tucker saying that he's not going to tee it up with his teammate on this one?
That's just a sad, sad story to report, Jamie. I mean, you got to be wearing it at the minimum. You got to have them wear the competing jersey if your team loses. And I think you see. I know Peter Burns and Chris Doring always have a bet on the Florida LSU game, and I remember Peter losing and dressing up like a Florida drum major, I think it was. So that's the lifeblood. It's like, what's the point of having a rivalry if you don't have something on the line, something at stake? So I'm right there with you. And I don't know if Tucker and the Aggie have been too far removed, but I can't pronounce his name either, by the way. But he's had a great year for the Ravens and great defensive lineman. So yeah, I don't know either. And I've even thought, we haven't even touched on this too, guys. This rivalry is so intense that just last summer Texas stole Texas A&M's baseball coach. Right, basically a day after he was
Harsh.
coaching the Aggies in the College World Series championship game against Tennessee this past June. And so, nothing is sacred, and that's the ultimate savage move. Like, they're playing for a national championship one day, and the next day he's wearing burnt orange. So, I think Chris Del Conte won up Trev Alberts on that day.
And maybe more reason why people in College Station hate the people in Austin, especially with the
Exactly.
rivalry. Charlie's going to wrap it up with one last question here.
So is from a on the field, I would love to know maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 just tremendous players that you've seen that really stood out in this game.
Well, I mean, Earl Campbell's the best college football player I ever saw, and I covered him some in high school when he was playing for Tyler, and then all 4 years he was at Texas. He was truly a man among boys,
Yeah.
and you just couldn't tackle him. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know you got to wait 3 years before you go to the NFL, but I promise you, Earl Campbell could have gone straight out of high school and done quite
Wow.
well. I think with the
Yeah.
Houston Oilers. So he kind of stands above the rest. And Vince Young is another one. He's probably the greatest quarterback in Texas history. We mentioned the Rose Bowl when they beat number 1 USC to win their last national championship. And it's been a minute since
Yeah.
2005. And I was at the Heisman Trophy. In fact, guys, I'll let you in on this, is that I voted for Reggie Bush that year. And
Oh.
Texas fans have never let me forget. It's going to be on my tombstone.
Yeah.
I've only apologized. It's somewhere around 2 or 3 million times. Okay. And I tell people I was just trying to motivate him to get him fired up to play USC.
Yeah, you
So,
helped Texas win the national championship. Great job.
yeah.
And a perfect way
Yeah,
we'll wrap up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say A&M, Von Miller, one of the all-time great linebackers in college and NFL. Dat Wynn's another one favorite. And one of all my favorites was Bucky Richardson, that Aggie dual threat quarterback.
What about Johnny Manziel?
Who is that? I don't know who that is. It's funny you bring up Johnny Manziel, and that's bad memory for Alabama and Jamie. I apologize for that when he went into there and beat them. But he always wanted to be a Longhorn.
I know.
And I always made the contention that if Johnny Manziel and A&M had stayed in the Big 12, they might have won 2 national championships. Because if you remember that Cotton Bowl, Johnny and the Aggies obliterated Oklahoma. It
Yeah,
wasn't even close.
I know.
But yeah, it always kind of burns Texas Aggies when he wanted to be a Longhorn. They used to come to party in Austin like 2 nights before games when he was in college.
Ouch.
So
Oh
there
my.
are a lot of
That's
Johnny stories.
yeah. All right, perfect way to end the show and a perfect way to start this rivalry. Both teams have a chance. One of these teams will go to the SEC title game. You'd have never picked that before the year, right? And two, who do you think is going to win this thing?
Let me look for a coin so I can flip a coin here. So you figure they both have so much to play for, and the Aggies really had their dauber down after that Auburn game. But I think they're going to get back up before this game, and they're going to give it, an unbelievable level that they're going to raise their game to. I just think I can't help but think that Texas is just the better team, not by a lot because A&M and Marcel Reed posed a lot of problems for
Uh-huh.
Texas because they haven't faced many great quarterbacks. Carson Beck's one, and he threw 3 interceptions in that game. So
Yeah.
I think that could be a difference. But I'm going to say probably Texas, of course, wins by a field goal.
Ooh. Jason Tucker
It's like
coming
Justin
back.
Tucker days.
There you go.
Justin Tucker days. So have a
Awesome.
do-over.
Kirk Bowles, thank you very much. You're a legend in Texas. You're a legend nationally. You're a legend for our show, for sure. Thank you for coming on. And Charlie, Jamie, thank you as well. Everyone have a great week and happy Thanksgiving. Southern Football Network, thanks for watching.